5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's party time, Mom. Welcome to another episode of the Chad Prather Show. Mothership Studio 22, flying in the nether regions of all things. America is the new Venezuela. That's right. We're headed to, the complete depletion of all resources that we know as the American dream. It is going away from us. Hot news, Natalie. It is going away. Listen, Candice, the queen of the Ethiopians, and I got to throw this at you because you know what it's like to be a Venezuelan. I tell you something, Candace. Buy the crypto, right? We were talking about that. Yeah. Buy the crypto because the dollar is going to bust. Just pow.
I feel like the Chuck E. Cheese gold tokens are worth more than the American dollar right now, which is a good thing if you're in crypto and like creator coin. So
yeah, play the American skee ball game and collect all the tickets you can, and maybe you'll get a plastic spider ring.
The big bass wheel of America is just
so. Listen.
Yeah.
Puppet Master Mark's over there at the helm. He's driving us. And let me tell you something. And the boys at the bar, Party Foul, Steve and Jennings. Guys, listen. Here's what's going to happen. And I hope you're ready for this. And I hate to be heavy with you on a hump day. But I'm going to give you a hard hump. Here's the problem. Jimmy Carter was the worst president we ever had in terms of what happened in America with our... I have to flip a coin between Jimmy Carter and Barack Obama. Barack Obama was probably the most dangerous president we ever had because he wanted to fundamentally change America, and he was very successful at that. He set race relations back 75 years. He created a hatred for law enforcement. He bowed down literally and figuratively and politically to foreign countries and foreign entities. He sold our soul in a lot of ways. Jimmy Carter, on the other hand, was inept. Jimmy Carter just didn't know what the hell he was doing. That guy got us into all kind of trouble. And I can remember being in the late 70s, the lines for gasoline, right? And where people were just down the road trying to just get a tank of gas, and they were rationing everything, right? Well, here we are again. Joe Biden said, hold my beer. Hold my beer. I'm going to show you
how
just
to not do anything.
How I can out-Carter everybody. Because now we're back again. The Southeast is in a massive gasoline shortage. People are listen, my solution there is if you're one of those climate worshipers, park your car and walk to work if you have a job. And that's questionable. You know? People are like, I said that on social media this morning. Everybody went crazy. Oh, this is so ignorant. I can't believe blah, 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 blah. You don't believe in climate change. I do. It's happened for millennia. It's never not changed. It's always changed.
Yeah, it's wiped out the human race a few times already.
Yeah, exactly.
It'll do it again.
There you go.
Reset.
Yeah. Bing, bing. Shake us off, as Steve says.
Yep.
Just wiggle these little people. There's 7 billion, 8 billion people on the planet. Just wiggle them off. Couple of hurricanes and bam.
Bye.
Or one good-sized Chinese rocket.
Yeah. Man, I was last week it was stressful. I was kind of praying the other day that rocket just land on me.
Chad Elliott.
I was. Where did it landed in the Maldives?
Yeah.
How would you say that?
Yeah, in the Indian Ocean.
And they were reasonably certain it was going to land in the ocean, but they weren't sure.
I mean, it has the biggest chance of hitting the ocean.
Two thirds of the planet is ocean.
Right.
Pretty good odds.
So good odds there, but they didn't know. And it doesn't matter because it's basically an irresponsibility in a lot of ways on the part of the Chinese, all right, the Chinese government. But who's going to hold them accountable? Not a damn person. Not a damn person.
Why didn't they blow it up in the air? Like shoot some
Well,
missiles
a lot of it did kind of melt away as it was making its re-entry. But if it landed on you, it'd still kill you.
I think the problem there was it was traveling too fast to shoot it down.
Hey, it was made out of
I'm serious. That is actually the problem.
Maybe so, but it was made out of aluminum. If it hit the ground, I guarantee it'd be in somebody's back of their scrap truck in a heartbeat.
Yeah, some old boy be like,
recycled.
Hey, y'all, breaker truck's out here. We're going to load this up. CCP. What's that stand for?
This is glowing.
Lick it. Hey, buddy, go lick it.
See if your tongue sticks to it.
So the world is coming apart at the seams. Joe Biden is inept, and I got a theory that I'm going to get into here. I mean, look at Israel. We're going to talk about that. Israel's on fire. It's not really, but I mean, they're not from a lack of the Palestinians not trying to set it on fire.
But Chad, you guys are forgetting the real blessing that came out of all of this and where we are now is that we got rid of the mean tweets.
The mean tweets
You
are gone.
guys, count your blessings.
That's right. Every restaurant I go into, I went into one yesterday for a meeting, and it had a sign on the door that said, be patient with us. We're understaffed. We can't get people to come to work.
Help wanted.
We did the same thing.
Everywhere.
We were right there in Burleson, and we had to stand there a long time, and there's 3 people working. They're all apologizing. I'm sorry, we are short-staffed. And it's like,
You want me to be the governor
April.
of Texas? Let me tell you what your stimulus package is going to be. Get a job.
Amen.
We will stop the
That's
stimulus
absolutely-
checks.
That's logical, though, to stay at home and draw a check and then get paid extra on top of that. You make more money doing that than you can on working a job.
Yeah. People might not like me for that opinion, but you ain't getting a stimulus check under my Anyway, cutting it off.
Well, you're going to piss off some people, but most people are preaching exactly what you're saying.
Well, business.
Not to mention, by the time that you're governor, we'll have to carry our stimulus around in a wheelbarrow.
Yeah. Well, hang on. I want to sell some wine here, but then I want to talk about this a little bit further because there's a lot to get into on a Wednesday. Crazy story down in Argentina. Got the vineyards up at 9,000 feet. You've heard me talk about it. They make world class, like 90-point Malbec wine there, but now they're coming under a threat from these radical mobs that are attacking and seizing their land. Buildings are burning down, and in the middle of the night, equipment is getting looted and stolen. The government down there they're not doing a thing because they're in bed with the radicals. So naturally, people are snapping up these wines while they can still get them because they taste incredible. They have notes of blackberry, dark cherry, leather smoke, great with steak. Today, you can get it yourself. Cowboywines.com. They've got another special shipment of these wines that have just come in. They want to share them with our audience. You get 50% off the wine, 50% off the shipping. No need for a promo code. Just visit cowboywines.com. and show these winemakers some love while you can still get it. Go to cowboywines.com. We'll be right back. Yeah, by Saturday morning, the Colonial Pipeline, which transports nearly half of the East Coast fuel supplies up from Texas, had been turned off. The victim of a ransomware cyber attack by a group of nasty hackers who, by the way, might be working with the Russian government. Biden was briefed on the situation Saturday morning. By late Monday, there were more than 1 in 20 gas stations in Virginia was out of fuel. Tuesday, governors throughout the Southeast were declaring states of emergency, and Biden administration was begging drivers not to hoard gasoline.
It's too late. They're hoarding.
They're hoarding.
come
But did you
on.
see the pictures of these people who are filling up their plastic cans and loading them in the back of their SUV and stuff? And I'm like, you people are stupid.
Hashtag toilet paper 21.
Okay, I kind of did that when Corona started. I filled my 4 gas cans up, make sure, because
But-
everybody else was, and I didn't want to be left out. But this, I don't feel like it's going to reach.
Gas is such a volatile fuel. One spark of static electricity in that car. Candace?
Back when Hurricane Harvey hit up in the Fort Worth area, there was like no gas, and so every time they would drop off more fuel, there would be people in this little town that my parents live in, and they would be filling up like canisters, trash cans full of gas. And I pulled up to one tank, and the guy was filling up 2 barrels full of gasoline while smoking a cigarette.
Come on.
Oh, good.
And so it's just
Your parents live in Johnson County?
Oh, hey, Palestinians had begun violently clashing with Israeli police at the Al-Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem, an escalation of tensions that had been simmering and occasionally boiling over for weeks. Hamas began launching rocket attacks into Israel, which responded by bombing Gaza. The Republicans in Washington started accusing Biden of tilting too far towards the Palestinians while failing to at least verbally sock it to Hamas. From the other side, leftists in his own party hit the White House for supposedly coddling Israel, with Representative Rashida Tlaib, Democrat from Michigan, accusing Biden of enabling Israel with foreign aid.
Outside of the rockets, that could have been 2,000 years ago, news report.
Well, I mean, it's been going on, but here's the thing.
Even Biden was there, too.
We'll get into the Israel thing in a minute, but oh my
And the
gosh.
Palestinians that don't exist.
Let's just talk about giving Israel aid. Biden gave the Palestinians like $150 billion for COVID relief. Do you think they spent $150 billion on COVID relief. No, they spend it on bombs.
I don't think we've spent $150 billion on
No.
COVID relief.
I was going to say
Amen.
maybe they moved into the Israel.
I'm telling you what they
Nice
did, man.
neighborhood.
They started putting them rockets in the air. That's what they did. They slung 1,000 rockets at Israel, and thank God for that. What is it, the Iron Dome or whatever the deal is? That I mean, you see the wild images of those rockets
We paid
blowing
for that
up.
too, didn't we? During the Obama days,
Huh?
didn't the U.S. pay for that too? To
For
protect
Israel, in Israel. I mean,
Yeah.
we contributed to it, but
So-
that's Israel. I'm talking about the Palestinians.
Yeah.
Now we're paying for Palestinian rockets.
Pay
so
for
we paid
everything.
to defend it, and now we're paying to blow. It's
The whole thing's stupid.
yeah.
Anyway, we'll get into that. Here's what's really bugging me as the world burns.
Like a new
I
soap
spoke at
opera.
an event last night. And y'all know my philosophy. I've said it. I'm going to say it over and over again. If you have a complex problem, you can't find a solution and still be politically correct. Okay? So I'm about to be politically incorrect, but you fact check me. I'm 100% right.
Okay, so if you're sensitive, turn it off.
No, don't. I want you to watch it and get
Okay,
pissed off. I want
leave
your
it
thin skin
on.
exposed.
I
Okay.
already agree with you, Chad. Bring
Yeah, what
back
you said.
lobotomies.
Thank you. So here we go.
Okay.
Here we go. In 1965, 75% of black homes and black communities had a father in them. All right? Today, less than 24% of black homes have a father in them in the inner cities, in the inner city communities, okay? The urban communities. That's a statistical fact. The cultural aspects and the ramifications of fatherlessness are real. The reason that trend has happened is because big government, blame whoever you want to, Democrat, Republican, and politicize it however the hell you want to do it. Big government made it easier and easier for people to be dependent on the government.
Yes.
All right? Whether it's a welfare system or there's a bailout, whether it's a stimulus, whatever it was. All of these things, these government programs that are out there, they enable it. So you make more money as a single mother, okay?
Rewarded.
And dad can go out and hustle and doesn't have to look back. So you're actually rewarding this type of behavior. And then you have the cultural nightmares that come from the plight of fatherlessness. That is a fact. I mean, it's a spiritual fact. It's a psychological fact. It is a physical fact.
Mm-hmm.
What's happening right now with these stimulus checks? They're giving money that they don't own. It's not there and it's not theirs. What's happening right now with the stimulus checks is you take what happened in the urban communities with minorities, and now you apply it to the entire nation. They've made all of us welfare recipients. All of us. Now, I'm not saying that only minorities and blacks. I'm just saying the trend is that the government found a way to take a specific section of our population in America and make them dependent on the government by and large in many, many ways. Okay? Became a thing. Now they're doing it in a bigger way so that we're all getting governmentally dependent. Everybody out there. Black, white, red, yellow, I don't care what your color is. The issue is people are sitting back, they're getting their stimmies. Give me my stimmy. They're not going to work. They're government dependent, and they're expecting it to continue on. And they're going to milk it for all it's worth. So we are being welfared with money that doesn't exist. That means when you print more money in the last 2-3 months than's ever been printed in the history of the United States, years combined, that bubble's going to pop. The dollar is going to be worthless, and we're all going to be 100% broke and impoverished. And this is how you institute a socialistic state like Venezuela. That's exactly what they do. You take the ability of people, take their will and their drive to go out and earn for themselves. You take capitalism away, and you institute socialist policies of giving when there's nothing there to give. But people are living that lie and believing that lie. And then you have certain parts of the infrastructure fall in on itself, like, okay, so let's say it was a malware system attack or whatever, a hack on this pipeline. Boom, there's no gasoline.
Yep.
There's no gasoline. Well, holy shit, how are we going to get ourselves out of this mess? We've just given all of our money away in stimulus checks. Can we abolish the word trillion, by the way? Stop using the word trillion. You don't know what it means. Nobody has any point of comparison for that. And these days, the government doesn't do anything unless there's a big T next to the number. Abolish it. All right. Let's call it 1,000 billions.
A lot of
All right.
zeros. A lot of zeros.
A lot of zeros. I mean, forget the word trillion. People don't know what a trillion is. So we're falling in on ourselves. We're imploding financially, economically, statistically, culturally. We're divided. We can't come together on anything. We've politicized every damn thing. Every damn thing.
I was going to say they're hiding it by having you focus on who's a racist, who's not a racist, who's offended, who's not offended. While you're doing all of that and being super sensitive, we're being screwed. Countries can't run this way.
No.
You cannot operate this way. Get over being sensitive. We all can grow and be better. Yes, we can all be better. Get over this and realize we got to come together and fight or we're going to lose it all.
Because let me tell you who's going to be eating while we're digging through the garbage can.
That's right.
The people who institute this whole thing. The bigwigs that are out there.
People with money.
The people with money, the people with power.
That's right.
And they're using the media as their little mouthpiece. See, this is let me use a term, I don't want to confuse you, but political science. The pandemic, there's science and then there's political science. And I don't mean like the class you take where you learn about politics. I'm talking about science, like medical science. There's medical science, there's political medical science. We politicized medical science with this pandemic, right? The masks and the unmasked, the mandated and the unmandated, the shutdown and the non-shutdown, the who can do this, who can stand close to each other, who can do all of these, the vaxxers and the non-vaxxers, all of these things. We've politicized science. And so now the media runs with the narrative that sells the best, whether it's true or not. The thing that invokes the most fear, the most response out of people, the most division. See, there's always a binary deal going on. Always. It's a black or white issue, right? Skin color. There is a mask or don't mask issue. Everybody's got to come down on a damn side.
Yep.
But at least if you believe the media. But most people out there are going to look at each other and say, I don't give a shit what you do.
Right.
Just don't cram it down my throat, right? Don't tell me what I've got to do. That's the issue. But we do that, and it comes down one side or the other. So now we're becoming this welfare state where everybody is dependent on the government. And we're like, oh, yeah, give me my stimulus check. I'm going to get mine. You have no idea what you're doing to this generation and the next generation and the next generation that will never recover from this. You're talking about sending us into a downward spiral that we will never recover from in generations to come. I mean, an untenable future. You can't spend money that doesn't exist. I mean, Steve, Jennings, Natalie, me, you guys, listen, Mark Candace, to some degree, I don't know if you guys ever had how much personal debt you've ever had, but it's effing stressful.
Yes.
Debt is stressful. You got debt collectors calling. You got people trying to close out on things and settle them, and you got interest rates and all these things. It's stressful. Now add that to the trillions. You can't pay that back. $30 trillion debt, you can't pay that back. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. And what are you going to pay it back with when people of America don't want to go to work? They want to sit there and spend mythological money.
Who can blame them? It's set up for failure.
That's the point I'm trying to make. You got to take some responsibility at this point. Because we're effing ourselves.
No, the government is that credit card company who goes to the freshmen in college. No, you got this.
Yeah.
You could pay it later.
Yeah.
You're fine.
It's like you go into the military recruiting office and they're like, oh no, you're not going to be doing it. You're not going to have to do any of that. You're not having to do anything hard. Right. The next thing you know, you're hunkered down behind a wall in Afghanistan
right.
while the rocks are chipping away and the bullets are hitting it, inches from your head. It
really feels like our nation's EKG, which was once thriving and pumping, is being muted. And if we continue to let that falter, it's going to go flat. We won't be number one anymore. You better get some Red Bull. Get it going.
Go on with yourself.
Okay.
Look at you with all your euphemisms.
Okay.
Euphemisms.
That's what it feels like. we're okay with taking a back seat and not being the greatest nation.
So, I met with a group of great folks last night in DeSoto, Texas, and gave them a little speech. And they asked some really hard questions of me, little campaign speech, and just talked about my vision for Texas and stuff. And you're exactly right. I said, you got some point in time, we got to stop hitting the apathy button, because that's our default setting, where we just stick our head in the sand and we just say, well, what will be, because that's the way it's always been. Somebody's going to bail us out. So, I don't know if you guys realize it or not, but we're the adults now.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it ain't up to our parents to take care of us anymore. We have to wipe our own asses. Like, we're the adults now. We're responsible for this shit show. So, and it's a shit show. Mm-hmm. Rome is burning, man, and Nero is playing his fiddle and watching the fire. It is bad. We're sitting back over here just navel gazing.
Yeah.
Just turned inward. Give me my stimmy.
And it would be one thing if losing first place on the world stage meant that some other benevolent country was going to take that place. Unfortunately, it is the opposite of that.
Yeah.
And if we lose number one spot, China's there. They're ready.
No, but you know what we're doing? We're putting out some woke CIA ads right now.
Good.
We are feeling good about ourselves at the CIA. Yes. China and Russia are laughing. Okay, hey, talk about it some more. TAC Pack, the premier monthly subscription box for military, tactical, prepper, Second Amendment enthusiasts. And with the new attacks on our Second Amendment rights right now, it is more important than ever to show your support and get equipped. For just $49.95 a month, you get at least $100 worth of gear from different companies like 511, Sons of Liberty, Gunworks, Mission First, Tactical, ArmaSpec, and a whole lot more. They're going to send you some AR-15 parts and accessories, so if you're building your gun, you can get your stuff out there. You get your EDC tools, your knives, your gear, can keep you prepared for when the poo hits the fan. Next Pack's perfect jumping in point and see what these boxes are all about. Lots of variety in this one. You get 7 items total, includes range gear, tools, everyday carry, apparel, and a whole lot more. Go to tacpack.com today and sign up. Use promo code CHAD, I spell it Chad, at checkout, and receive a free extra bag of tactical goodies that will be shipped out with your first pack. So don't wait. These things are flying off the shelves, and they have sold out before the deadline the past few months. Go to tacpack.com. Sign up today. That's TAC, T-A-C, pack.com. Offer code Chad. Be right back. Now, I don't know if you guys realize it or not, but Israel typically doesn't mess around. They'll smoke your ass. They're all about their borders. They're all about protecting what's theirs. And Bibi Netanyahu...
I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with it, too. I kind of like to watch how they do things.
Right.
Warns militants will pay a very heavy price. Death toll from the spiraling hostilities climbed to 6 Israelis and 53 Palestinians. See, it's amazing to me. The numbers never match up. The Palestinians launch all the rockets, and 6 Israelis died, but 53 Palestinians died. It ain't going to be good. It ain't going to be good. You push the wrong button, and it's going to be bad.
But isn't this the equivalent of, like, say, Fort Worth in a battle with Burleson?
Well, people in Idaho have no damn clue what you're talking about that are watching this show.
Okay. They don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. Fort Worth.
It's Fort Worth, and there's a little. People don't realize. People think Fort Worth is Dallas.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a worldwide show, Steve.
Yeah. No.
We're not one at a time in here. We're mass communicating.
Yeah, but maybe somebody's looking on a map right now and they're looking up Burleson, Texas.
Yeah.
So.
I doubt it. The defense minister for Israel, Benny Gantz, he said the army will continue to attack to bring a total long-term quiet. Only when we reach that goal will we be able to speak about a truce. Yeah.
Is there really a solution in a truce?
Never has been.
And I don't.
They might stop shooting for a minute, but that don't mean it ain't going to happen again.
But we went 4 or 5 years without.
But Trump tweeted mean stuff, man. There were so many Middle East peace treaties that were going on and stuff like that. But
if they're being backed by Iran, that's them testing. What's the U.S. going to do? That's what It comes down. It really probably not so much Israel and Palestinian.
Keep your
it's
eyes
what can we
open.
do?
You're right.
So there's some bigger stuff coming.
You're right.
Yeah, the worst fighting since the 2014 Gaza war was sparked by clashes in Jerusalem between Palestinian protesters and Israeli police, focused on the Al-Aqsa Mosque compound, a site sacred to both Jews and Muslims. Israel said its warplanes had targeted and killed several Hamas intelligence leaders early Wednesday. Other strikes hit when the military said there were rocket launch sites, Hamas offices, and the homes of the group's leader. Israel has gone crazy, a man on a Gaza street said. The children have escaped the coronavirus and now in new trauma, an Israeli woman in the coastal city of Ashkelon said on TV to Reuters. It's a bad situation. Let's take a little look at what some folks have to say here and what's really going on. Play clip 1, Mark. Boom. That's a bus that got hit by a rocket. That's an Israeli bus that got hit by a Gaza rocket. You see the fires burning down the street there.
That dude's just sitting there still eating.
Israel, man, they're used to this stuff. Dude just still hanging out on the street, finishing his falafel.
When a hurricane comes,
Yeah.
he's just like normal.
People down in Rockport, Texas. Yeah, well, I'll see y'all on the other side.
Nobody knows who Rockport, Texas is, Chad. This is a worldwide show.
Well, the hurricanes hit it.
High five, Jenny.
The fact that you guys are so stupid that you don't realize that doesn't apply to me like it just did to y'all, morons. Golly, these people. Everybody knows Rockport, Texas. Come on.
Okay. But this... Yeah,
Say it, Steve.
No, I
Galveston.
can't because
Say
it's...
it, Steve.
Nope,
Maybe Galveston.
No.
That's a little more.
Galveston, oh, Galveston.
These people really are not at war. They're just exchanging some bombs. Because if one of them was serious about war, they would wipe the other one off the face of the earth. That's the way it's done. Kill them all. Let God sort them out.
The Palestinians
That's how
don't
you
have
go
the
to battle.
ability to do that to Israel. Israel has the ability to do that to Gaza. I mean, they can smoke
And
that if
there's
they
going to
want.
come a point where they've had enough and they're going
Maybe
to wipe
so.
them off the face of the earth.
But again, there are sanctions in place that keep that from happening, and such is the nature of geopolitical warfare.
No, and we're going to spend the money and we're going to keep rebuilding these cities that they're blowing up and stuff like that. It's a never-ending cycle.
The problem is we don't just say, okay, Israel and Palestinians, y'all sort it out. We don't. The problem is it flows over to Russia and America and all these other, like you mentioned, Iran a little while ago. It's never just, hey, you guys go out back and fight it out.
You're right.
And we're going to working on this Iran deal where we're going to go in there. We're going to give Iran money. They're going to give it to Hamas. They're going to blow up Israel. We're going to pay to rebuild and help Israel. It's just a never-ending cycle, and it all comes down to money.
We don't have any.
Yeah.
Fresh out.
Send them some Doge coins.
We're fresh out. Little Star of David coins. Anyway.
Whatever.
Give them the crypto shekels. Okay, ease up. Play clip 2, Mark. Palestine will be free. Palestine will be free. These are the protests that are going on. And what does the Biden administration have to say? Play clip 3, Mark.
We will also continue to support a two-state solution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. That is the only way to ensure the just and lasting peace that two peoples have struggled to achieve. We believe Palestinians and Israelis deserve equal measures of freedom, security, dignity, and prosperity. And U.S. officials in recent weeks have spoken candidly with Israeli officials about how evictions of Palestinian families who have lived for years, sometimes decades, in their homes, and of demolitions of these homes work against our common interests in achieving a solution to the conflict.
Do you think anybody in the Palestinians or Israelis give a shit what Jen Psaki has to say?
What did she say? It looked to me like she read. I mean, that's all she
did.
did.
As a statement.
As a statement. That is
statement.
not.
I kept focusing on her eyelashes and her eye makeup.
I was watching the sign language translator. She was like she couldn't believe what she was saying.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch this clip again later. What is it? The takeaways you guys have.
I can't
Well, because
with
it
the ride the
doesn't-
fence. Stop.
We went 4 years, and we had some really intelligent people in that place. And I'm not saying she's not intelligent, but her articulation of words, it might as well be me.
I
up
am
there
saying
talking.
she's not very intelligent. I'll go on record as saying Jen Psaki, the press secretary for the Biden administration, is not very
It
intelligent.
gives me hopes I could be press secretary someday.
For whom?
I don't know. Maybe Chad Prather.
No, that's
president.
Sarah Gonzalez. We've already appointed that position.
And I am saying that in that statement, nothing was said.
Nothing
Except
was
that
said.
exactly what's happening here.
I mean, we're for both people. I mean, we're for
both.
both sides, and blah blah blah. That's Amerispeak right there. That's American language. That is first world Amerispeak.
That's left speak.
We're gonna hope for the best.
And of course, a two-state solution sounds great in theory, but when everybody's fighting and claiming over the same piece of properties, that's not going to happen.
Oh my gosh.
Thousands of years.
Yep.
Thousands and thousands of years. But just remember, the Ayatollah Khomeini, he's still on Twitter. He's still on Twitter. Trump's off. There was a call on Twitter in the last couple of days.
Yeah.
Ayatollah Khomeini, Iran, he was calling for the Palestinians to stand strong and confront Israel. Well, of course, it sparked a lot of outrage. He said, Palestinians are awake and determined they must continue this path. One can only talk with the language of power with these criminals. Can you imagine if Donald Trump had said something like that? They must increase their strength, stand strong, confront the enemy, force them to stop their crimes. But he's still on Twitter. How has Twitter not banned him? Anyway, that's the hypocrisy of it all. Anyway, hey guys, there's a new movie. We want it to come out. Hunter Biden, he's up to no good. From his shady foreign business dealings to his lies in the media, the Bidens are working overtime to cover up Hunter's laundry list of scandals, and the media and big tech is helping them do it. That's why the filmmakers behind the Gosnell movie are making My Son Hunter, the Hunter Biden movie, to put an end to the Biden media cover-up. My Son Hunter will expose it all, the shady foreign business deals, the laptop, and a whole lot more. But they need your help to do it. Hollywood certainly is not going to fund this film. Too controversial. It exposes some of the most powerful people in the world. So these independent filmmakers are relying on you. Your gift of $10, $50, $100, or even more will help stop the Biden media cover-up and make My Son Hunter. And your donation is 100% tax deductible. So go to mysonhuntermovie.com. Do it today. Make your donation. Help make this incredibly important film. We'll be right back. Get my new sign, calling it yard art. Because politically, you got to be careful how you put those signs out. You know what I'm saying? And what those signs say and how big the fonts are and all that. Like, the Ethics Commission watches this stuff.
I'm glad you said that, because I was supposed to ask you about getting some down in Columbus, Texas.
Yeah.
There's a group of people who are all ready to put your signs out, and I was
Well, what we have,
irresponsible.
see, you're not supposed to put political signs out. Like, you can put anything you want on private property.
Yeah.
Right? You can contact us. We can help you out with that. We have our signs, but you're not supposed to do that until 90 days before an election. Okay? Like, you can't put them out there on the street and things like that. You can't just litter the world with political signs.
That's bad enough already, even during election time.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't
you
like
can't
seeing
just
all
litter
that.
the landscape. Now, people, again, private property, you can put it whatever you want out there. But we came up with a solution, and it just says, Chad Prather is for Texas. That's all it says. If you know, you know. There's no website on it. There's no disclaimers.
Yeah.
There's no paid for by, none of that. Because it's not a political sign. Just, I'm for Texas. And so we have those signs. You can get them at watchchad.com. Go to the store and grab them and litter your landscape with
And they'll
our
deliver 'em
yard
to you.
art. I said the other day, I said, what's just novelty yard art? And people said, just like your campaign.
Novelty.
Novelty.
Hide and watch.
Yeah. So I still like the T-shirt idea of Chad Prather. He's not kinky, you know, after Kinky Friedman's 2006 run, who, of course, ran on the platform of, how hard can it be?
That would rock out in Austin, Texas, but
Yeah.
I would venture to say that some people don't know who Kinky is.
A lot of people don't know who
They
Kiki
don't know
is,
who he is.
unfortunately. They don't remember 2006. Those were the good old days.
He wore a cowboy hat, nice jackets, turquoise.
It was before 2000. I mean, I knew
Always
he was,
had a big cigar in his hand. I remember
yes,
that.
Oh,
always
Kiki's been
was-
around forever.
Yeah, he's
But, I mean, his
fun
run was
musician.
2006
Yeah.
for governor.
I'd put one in my yard, but the lady across the street with the Black Lives Matter sign we might end up with like an Israeli
Oh,
Palestinian
you'd be like
situation.
Palestine and yeah, you'd be like the Gaza Strip.
Do
yeah,
it.
3rd Street would be like Gaza. You'll be lobbing bombs at each other, throwing water balloons. But we're doing our best to obey the rules. Allison, everybody knows Allison, she called the Texas Ethics Commission the other day and was asking some questions, and they said, honestly, we don't know, but if you do it wrong, you'll find out. Boy, this is what we're up against, people.
This sponsored by Joe Biden.
Bureaucracy at
don't
its
know.
finest right there. We don't really know that rule, but if you do it wrong, you'll find out. Well, before you give us a Class C misdemeanor, could we maybe get a heads up
That's great.
on the right thing to do?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, but hopefully they would warn you ahead of time.
They
to
don't.
say,
They just fine you,
How
and then
do
you have to
they-
fight it with in ethics court.
How do they even know? Do they have like some Dennis Rader BTK type driving around looking at
What's
signs?
crazy is this, Jennings. So you have different rules for state politics, for federal politics, for municipal politics. There's different rules. Like you could do different things. Like if there's like the word for. You've heard me talk about this. The word for. Like let's say Steve Powell for Burleson mayor. All right. If you want to put that on there, if there is an incumbent who's running again. All right, so let's say Ken Shetter, who is the mayor of Burleson, Texas. If Ken Shetter, if he's going to run again, your word for has to be at least half the size of the office you're running for. Okay? Now, if he's not running again, it could be the same size. You could say for Burleson mayor, all one size font. This is the minutia that we're dealing with.
Wow.
Forget stimulus checks. We pay people to come up with this bullshit.
We pay.
Good.
Our tax money pays for people to monitor this crap.
In the trillions.
they
Yeah.
probably came up
I'll
with
just
that
monitor
100
it.
years ago because something happened. and
But
they
this
said,
is
"Oh."
what's up. This is what's up. This is why average people don't get into politics. This is why they don't want to do not community service. They don't want to serve the community. They don't want to get into civil service. They don't want to get into any of this stuff because you can't. You can't. And then you can't raise money because the people with real money, they hedge their bets. They want to wait and see who's going to jump in, if their horse is going to enter the race before they, start doling out any funds. So
That's why I haven't gave you any money yet.
I'm sure that's
holding
it.
up some funds.
And let me tell you the other phenomena. That exists in politics. The people who give the least, the big money people who actually give the least amount of overall support are going to want 98% of your attention when you get in office. Because again, now that you're in office, that's when their big money is going to start flowing because they're trying to buy favors. They're trying to make sure their agenda gets pushed. I did a video the other day, and we're coming out with a series of videos, and it's not necessarily just campaign stuff. It's just, this is what I believe. This is what I believe. So I did a video the other day about, I'm no expert, and I'm not an expert. You can't be an expert because experts screw things up.
Yeah.
Right? Dr. Fauci is a, quote, expert, and look where we're at. Right? The CDC is supposedly experts. We don't know what's going on. We don't. The experts in the Wuhan lab let this thing get out. The experts put hydrogen in the Hindenburg. It was experts that said that a rocket would never leave the Earth's atmosphere. Einstein himself said that we would never be able to obtain nuclear energy because that would mean you could harness an atom and split it at will. He said you could never do that. These are experts, okay? The experts get it wrong. Experts get it wrong. What we got to be is practical, lifelong learners. That's what we got to do. And in order to do that, you got to be teachable. Well, politicians aren't teachable, and they're not learners because they're not listeners. Get one on the phone. You can't do it. Can't do it. This House legislation period in the state of Texas that we've been going through, got 20 more days of it. It's been a joke. They didn't pass Bill 1399, which would halt the mutilation of gender changes in children, gender mutilation, sex changes in children under the age of 18 years old. They didn't stop that in Texas. They didn't stop it. Why? Are you kidding me? They didn't stop that? You would think that would be a no-brainer. People's brains aren't formed until they're 25 years old, but yet we're going to give them the right to go out and mutilate their bodies when they maybe they're one way when they're 12 years old and maybe they're a different way when they're 22 years old. We don't know, but once you cut the wiener off, you can't put it back on.
It goes from a no-brainer to a no-boner.
That's exactly right. You can't do it. So, but nope, didn't pass in Texas. Yesterday, 7 Republicans, or Monday, I should say, 7 Republicans sided with the Democrats to continue mask mandates. They didn't ban mask mandates in the case of a pandemic, which gave the governor and local governments the right to mandate masks anytime there is a supposed pandemic. So it lost 73-72. 7 Republicans agreed to give the governor that type of overreaching power. Now, where's the problem in all that? What's a pandemic? How do you define a pandemic? You can't define a pandemic.
Whatever they want it to be.
Let's say it's allergy season, right? Oh, we got the pandemic of ragweed going on here in Texas. Everybody's got to mask up. Mandate it. There's colds, there's flus, we heard Fauci on yesterday's show or Monday's show talking about it could be seasonal. We might have to start masking up seasonally, just like the flu season. So anyway, that's the kind of crap that's going on down there in Texas. Because let me tell you what they do. Can I just take 30 seconds to tell you what they do? They propose these bills that sound good, so that their peeps, so that their constituents will like it, and they know it's not going to pass. So they put it out there in the House. They put it through legislation. It gets the support, and then they put it in calendars. And guess what? They run out of time before the calendars committee has an opportunity to hear it and give it an opportunity to be voted on.
Yep.
And it gets buried, and they say, well, we tried. Right? That was the legislation we wanted to put through. We know you supported it, but just not going to happen this time. They never wanted it in the first place. So you know what they do? They get reelected because that's all they're good at. They're experts at getting their agendas across and getting reelected. That's bullshit. We'll be right back. They voted Liz Cheney out. That was an interesting little deal.
Yep.
O.J. Simpson backed her, and he said honesty is the enemy to many Republican politicians. Oh boy, when we get to a point
He ain't wrong.
where OJ's chiming in,
Can we please have him on this show?
yeah, that would be a trip, wouldn't it? That'd be a trip. Anyway, it would be real cutting edge stuff. What I want you to do is go to watchchad.com. It's where all the fun stuff is. And come see us in Beaumont. Another thing, Friday night, I'm going to be in Allen, Texas, with the Faith and Freedom Conference. It's going to be going on all weekend long. Friday night, we're going to be there. The Ragamuffins will be with me. We're going to have a big time. A lot of big name folks, not the least of which, if you're on Twitter, Cat Turd will be there. Cat Turd will be there. You got to love Cat Turd. If you're not following Cat Turd on Twitter, you got to follow Cat Turd. But a lot of great political, outspoken folks on social media. A lot of viral personalities are going to be there. Faith and Freedom going to be there. You can get some information. Just check out my Twitter @WatchChad, and you'll get the information over there. And I'd be remiss if I didn't tell you to go ahead right now, get your tickets for Arlington, Texas, June 4. Because that sucker's going to be packed. Arlington Music Hall. You coming?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you better.
Well, it sounds like it's almost sold out, so I'll still break
Tickets
in,
are
though.
available. Tickets are available, but it will be sold out.
Yeah, but it's almost gone.
Yeah, it's going to be.
Get them quick.
I'll
Get 'em.
stand up, though.
And that's a great music hall. It's a great place. Ragamuffin's going to be there. Jesse Payton will be there. Going to be funny. Going to be fun. Going to sing some songs.
I'll pull a chair up on stage.
Yeah, girl. Yeah,
It's
girl.
fine.
Anyway, I appreciate you guys. I really do. Prather2022.com. You can find out what's there. I'm not going to tell you. Candice, the queen of the Ethiopians. Thank you as always. The Puppet Master Mark. You guys, I love y'all. It's Wednesday. Go get your hump day on, okay? We'll talk to you tomorrow night. Love you. God bless you. Talk to you then. Bye.